Human beings are considered rational in nature with conscious socioeconomic choices. However, are we truly rational? For example, in a pandemic situation, only rational decision to be followed is to wear masks and maintain social distancing, considering our life and well-being being the most valuable asset an individual can possess. However, in real life, we see that this rationality is rarely followed. How are these complex decisions arrived at? How do we trade off our life and well-being for other socio-economic gains? What are the factors influencing this decision making? Hi all, I am Mehul Raghavan and this is Development Discourse. In the past episodes, we discussed about various development theories and how they are used to explain the socio-economic scenario of a country. However, many of these theories are contradicting in nature. For example, a left-leaning economist may argue that poverty trap is a reality. That means some people are so poor that we have to provide them with some welfare models, that is providing them products and services for free, to provide an opportunity to increase their income, to come out of the poverty trap and then be part of the revenue model. However, a right-leaning economist may argue that poverty trap is a myth and that no matter how poor the person is, we can improve their income through some efficient revenue models. That is through direct market interaction. Now, we are not talking about which of these models is right. Every once in a while, popular economists get in an argument regarding these models. Our fundamental question that we are exploring is, where does this fundamental urge to answer every question through one single model comes from? History shows us that this underlying urge to explain everything using a single model comes from material science. In material science, there are fundamental laws which are used to explain larger theories. But as science has advanced, even these ideas are no more valid. Dualities of theories is something that scientists have come to appreciate more and more as science improved. For example, relativity theory does a great job in explaining the world at a macro level, but as we move to subatomic level, it is the quantum theory that does a better job. So even material science has come to appreciate this duality theory principle, where two theories are existing parallelly, explaining the same phenomena at two different contexts. So if duality can exist in material science, why can't it exist in economics domain? At the end of the day, economics is a study that is dealing with the conscious socio-economic choices of an individual, which is much more subjective in nature, much more complex, and much more variables involved. Why can't we approach poverty in a case-to-case basis? For a particular village with so-and-so condition, a welfare model might work. For a particular village with so-and-so other condition, a revenue model might work, and so on. One of the major assumptions in conventional economics is that human beings are rational in nature. However, are we truly rational? Does we make our economic choices through infinite wisdom or sometimes through pure instinctiveness? Are we truly rational or sometimes predictably irrational? Can we model human behavior at such micro levels? How a village makes its choice, how a household makes its choice, or how an individual makes its choice? When we try to answer these questions, it becomes dangerously close to AI, which is trying to model human behavior. When we are talking about artificial intelligence and simulating human behavior, it is no more a grey area even for a common man. As a common man, we are interacting with such models in a day-to-day basis. In a YouTube, when you are getting a prediction of video exactly reflecting your interest, it is basically reinforced learning, where the model is storing your past search result data and giving you better and better prediction. In a below-the-line marketing strategy, when you are getting advertisements which is specifically reflecting your interest, it is basically the cookies stored in the website that you have visited, or maybe the data that you have entered in a website. All these things are simulation models of human behavior. So behavioral economics is where we are discarding these bigger models and trying to get better and better data from the field for better models which can explain the socio-economic decisions of an individual or group. For example, a village with an open defecation problem where people are using lesser toilets. Rather than jumping into a solution that whether we have to give them toilets for free or maybe a paid toilet, we need to get more and more data from the field, understand what is the reason for them to not use lesser toilets, what are the factors inhibiting them from using the toilets, create models and trying to explain or come up with a solution according to those data. So this episode was more about explaining the principle of behavioral economics. In next episode, what we'll be doing is trying to create an exact model which can predict human behavior. So what we'll be doing is getting a 2011 census data, which is actually the population growth at various district level, We also have data points like literacy rate and sex ratio, and we'll be trying to use these variables to explain the population growth of this district. We'll be using a prediction algorithm and trying to create this model and trying to predict the population growth of few of those districts. We'll be also using confusion metric to see how accurate these models are. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Thank you.